So what are you listening to in your head 2 seconds before we air?
Pick a note.
Pick it up. Bing. Anyway. So we're back. We're back. Backstreet's back. All right. Anyway, so today's wonderful episode is dating with children.
Oh my God.
Good times. Good times. Good times. Serenity now. That's all I got to say about that.
I was going to say, I am, thank God I don't have to worry about that because I don't have kids. But, hello, I could date somebody that has kids. So it's
don't do it. Run for your life, Forrest.
Okay, thank you for listening. That was our episode.
The end. Bye. Seriously, if you can help it, try not. Because it's a big job.
Big job dating somebody that has kids?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think, too, it depends on the age of the kids.
Of the kid.
Yeah. Because in the end, no offense to you guys, but you're all babies, but whatever.
But you have a child.
I do. And
do you?
So I've been on...
You don't condone it?
Well, again, I think it depends on the age of the kid. It depends how the children's behave. It depends on a lot of things. But if you are single... And it's kind of like
single without kids?
Without kids,
okay.
Yes. It's kind of like a double-edged sword now because as you get older, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it, you're always going to encounter people that already have kids.
I mean, I think at my age, it's 9 times out of 10, it's somebody with kids.
Exactly.
I mean, you know.
But so I feel bad for you because this is, okay, so these are the things to keep in mind, people.
Are you afraid? Are you afraiders?
These are the things to keep in mind. So, you being a single person, non-child.
Son's child.
Yes, son's child.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get involved with a guy who has a child or children.
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot to take into consideration.
Yes.
For instance, the
baby
most
mama.
important is the baby mama crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
How involved is that baby mama in this man's life?
It's not. God, this is going to sound horrible. It's not, is the baby mama crazy? It's how crazy is the baby mama?
Yes, that's what I said. How crazy is the baby mama? And how much does this man let that crazy baby mama interfere in his life?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be, it's like, okay, so how many kids again?
Yeah.
How old are the kids again? How did this relationship end?
I don't think it matters how it ended. I think it matters how crazy this woman is and how involved in his life he allows her to be.
Yeah.
Because there's a fine line, right? And men by nature don't want to cause any friction or problems or whatever. So then the woman...
No drama.
Yeah, the woman acts
no
crazy.
Drama.
Yeah, they're the first dramáticos, whatever, está con una loca ahí de que te dice, this, that. And then when they find out that you have a girlfriend,
yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck with that one.
Well, I dated somebody recently, briefly, that is a single father, or I guess in the midst of becoming a single father. Read into it what you will. But that was a very actually attractive feature of him to me because he seemed to be a very involved dad. And I really liked that about him. It wasn't a turn off for me. That he had kids, multiple kids, different ages. That wasn't a turn off to me at all. To me, that was a very endearing quality. I could see firsthand how he would be if we ended up having kids, in the future. So it wasn't a turn off for me. I'm okay with that. I'm not.
I think it's two different things.
And in a way, it's okay, the package, that's great because I don't know if I'm going to have kids. That's great that you have kids.
It's not turn on or turn off. I think it's more it's nice to see because you see how they interact with children, a different side of them, a softer side, etc.
That could be a pro. A pro of dating somebody with kids is that you already see firsthand of how that person is with his kids.
And how they're going to be with your
how they're going to be with your kids.
Hopefully.
Or how is he going to be as a father, basically.
Right.
Not,
Right. So then, but then as a single person coming into that environment, I think what a lot of men and women need to do is draw the line in the sand and tell the ex, hey, this is like this and this is like that. And, and not let this person get involved so much in their life when it comes to dating or, who's exposed to the children to a certain extent. They have to be, but they don't, just because they're your ex doesn't mean that they can still tell you what to do or how to do it or whatever. Hopefully you have good judgment and you're able to discern that for yourself. But it's hard when you have children and you're dating. It's hard because, number one, what time do you have? Because if you have more than one kid consumes you. More than one, you want to rip the hair out of your head.
I remember Kim Kardashian saying that her mom, Kris Jenner, was like, having one kid is like having a child. Having 2 kids is like having 20 kids.
Yeah. It's like I see some of these women that I know that have more than one, and I don't know how they do it. I mean, it's a lot.
True. Like, I was reading, and doing research for this episode. Like, according to Elite Singles Magazine, there are approximately 13.6 million single parents, raising approximately 21 million children. 16% of those single parents are single men. So, yeah,
I was surprised
the majority.
About that, 16% being single men. I thought it would be less.
You thought it would be less?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So there's definitely, it's definitely the, I would guess the majority now because,
it's the new norm.
It's the new norm. I think
you go out and practically everybody that I meet has a kid, whether it's a woman who's single or a man who's single.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it is like people are not, I don't know if people, I think everybody's dating except me probably. But
and me.
Everybody's dating.
Except us. Because we're here entertaining
we
you.
We are here. This is more important to us right now. Thank you very much. But I think a lot of it comes from, guilt when you have, especially if you're like newly divorced or newly single and you have a small child. I think there's a lot of guilt involved in like parents deciding to date. They might think, oh my God, I'm taking away time from my kids. I'm not spending as much time with them already as it is. I have these many things to do. I only get them, let's say, every other weekend. Like I can't really go out, I'm out of the town. Like, every other weekend is fine. At the beginning, I think that's fine.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Men always have it a lot easier than women when it comes to establishing another relationship after, let's say, a divorce or a breakup with kids or whatever.
Just time-wise.
Yeah, time-wise. Like you said, it's every other weekend. Yeah. Unless you have an ultra, like, interactive parent, a male dad that is there all the time that wants to be involved with their kids, which I know many of them. But it's very hard.
But for the most part, it's that Wednesday, like once a week and every other weekend. That's really,
and that's even if you pick them up during the week. So most of them don't. It's every other weekend, and then that's when women have like a little reprieve. And you're like, oh my God, like you don't even think about going on a date. You know what you think about? Like going to get a massage, going to do your nails, going to fix your hair, having lunch with your friends,
having time for you, clean the house.
Oh my God,
go grocery shopping without having somebody telling you, or just go shopping for like whatever, just without somebody telling you, I'm happy. I'm hungry. When are we going to leave? Are we done yet? Like all that stuff.
Let me tell you, in the beginning, when that happened to me, my daughter was very young, and it was excruciatingly painful for me.
Yeah, the beginning is hard.
They're so little, and you're with them, and as a mother, your instinct is to protect them and to shield them and to keep them, and and so then for me it was very difficult, and I'm like, oh my God, like when I was by myself, I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah,
what do I do now?
I would think everybody goes through that. And then little by little, you're like,
wait a sec. And I'm like, woo! When are you leaving? I love you.
I love you, be good. Here's my number. Call 911 if I don't pick up 911.
I love you, meaning, sí, vaya con Dios. Te quiero, bye. And then after you're like, oh my God, I could take a shower for half an hour. I could go to the mall. I could call my friends and have lunch. Yes. And it's like,
I can dance naked in the house.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God.
I know. And at the beginning, I'm sure you were like,
I would cry.
Looking at the picture.
I would cry. I'm like, oh my God.
When is she coming home?
And I would call him 100 million times. Yeah. How is she? And now
he's like, why are you calling me?
I call like, when it's, how come she's not home yet? But other than that, I try not to call because I want her to spend her quality time. But
let's
still,
call it that.
Yes. But still, I'm like, and when she doesn't sleep at the house and she sleeps with her dad, at his house, it's like a part of me is ripped out of my body because it's weird. It's like you used to having this little person around all the time with you, and then when they're not there, it's like, now I'm by myself. Like, what do I do?
Yeah, what do I do?
Even sleeping in the house knowing she's not there is weird. So I don't know. Like, so my dating is basically extinct at this point. And, I think there's a lot of factors for me personally. It's the time. It's the, like, okay, can I leave her with my family for X amount of days or whatever, or time or anything like I have in the past. But then, you have your family like up your ass all the time too. Like, I was dating this guy at one point and my mother's like, y ese tipo no sabe que tú tienes una hija. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah. Like, what does that have to do with anything? Yeah. Well, why does he ask you out so much? Oh, hello?
Because he likes me.
Because he likes me and I like him and we're having a good time. And so then that becomes an issue too. Like, your family's up your ass. Like, why are you going out? And what are you doing? And who's this person? And who's that? And then, I'm rewinding back to when I was like 18.
That's like, definitely, that's definitely one of the things they put. Like, they fear, fear judgment from other people is like, it's not like they necessarily fear judgment, but como que, especially if you're like newly divorced or newly single, it's oye, está muy temprano para estar dating. Tiene que preocuparse que ser madre o ser padre primero, whatever. There's always that. But there's always like the family. They're like, coño, tú sabes, tengo que dar a la chiquita 3 veces a la semana. ¿Qué es esto? ¿Sabes? Like whatever. It's like, coño.
And this is not
I need a life too.
Like my daughter says, the old days where, I have to hold vigil to my ex-husband and be single and miserable the rest of my life and be like, back then when women got divorced, they didn't remarry, they didn't have relationships or anything.
And it's like luto forever. Kind of like, como un luto. It's like that, the oxygen mask principle. It's like first, when you're on an airplane, they're like, first put on your mask, put your mask on first, and then help your child or whatever. It's like, you gotta be good yourself. You gotta be good in yourself, in your, mental health, well-being, whatever you want to call it, because that's, your kid picks up on that, and that's what's going to give them stability and security and everything. So when it comes to dating, it's like, you got to decide, like, why are you dating? Are you dating just to fill a void? Are you dating because you're bored? Are you dating because you just want a night out in the town? Or are you really, missing that thing of sharing your life with somebody or sharing special moments or whatever? Then that's when you got to decide, okay, I'm ready to date or I'm not ready to date yet, whatever. And there's always, some hooking up in between. That's fine. You're human, whatever.
As long as you're not doing it in your house.
Yes, that's another thing. When it comes to, like, let's call them sleepovers.
Yeah, don't sleep over in your own house. Go sleep at somebody else's house.
No, well, you could do it in your house, but make sure your kid's not there. No.
Yeah. At least that's my belief. Like, I've never done that.
No.
And I'm very particular when it comes to exposing my daughter to men.
Yes.
Like, I think when I got divorced, it was like one person only that I dated for a long time. Like after a few years after I got divorced, I dated somebody and we dated for many years. And I slowly introduced her to him, not straight off the bat, because I don't believe it. Like, you can't have your kids meeting 20 guys or 20 girls. They're sponges. They pick up on all that stuff. So I think that as parents, as adults, you need to establish some sort of responsibility where you're saying, okay, so this person is leading down this road or whatever. And so this one I could be serious with, and let me then gradually introduce the kids. But
I think you definitely don't hide the fact that you have kids. Right off the bat, you got to say, I have kids.
Oh my God, I got to tell you a funny story. So I was talking to this guy the other day, no dating thing, just talking. And he was telling me that he was dating some Cuban chick who was crazy off the rails. And he found out a year after dating her that she had kids. Can you imagine that? She hid her kids for like a year. How do you do that?
No. No.
I was like, what?
You can do that. But, definitely say, I have kids. I have 2, I have 3, I have 5, whatever. Age is whatever. I don't agree with sharing pictures or sharing anything. Don't share any of that. Just know that I have kids and whatever. And then little by little, you kind of like, if this person is going to fit into your life, if they're going to get along, and like all that stuff. You don't need to introduce your kids right away. Yeah. I think you shouldn't.
No,
I agree. But just in the back of your mind, you're like, you have your mental check boxes, your mental boxes, and you check them and you don't check them, and you're like, okay, let me, and then little by little you can decide whether or not to keep seeing that person or not. I mean, that's, common sense.
So it's funny because going back to the whole sex thing, I was just thinking, like, how when you were younger and like if you were fooling around in your house or whatever, your parents would come and you would like tell the guy, get out, oh my God, or the girl, get out, or whatever.
I never did that.
And then
I'm a good girl.
And then now I'm thinking it's the opposite, right? Because now you got to be like, get out, my kids are coming home. You have to leave. I had to do that, like with that person that I was dating.
Ooh.
Yes, and then there was this guy. Oh my God, this was not too long ago. This was like maybe 2-3 years. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, he slept over because I don't remember if he was drinking. I know my God. Anyway, there was no sex involved. Of course, he wanted to have sex, but I was and he was like, "Can I sleep over?" I was like, "Yeah, on my sofa bed." You're not sleeping in my bed. No, I want to sleep with you, please. And I was like, don't even think like there's gonna be no sex, like nothing,
no sleepover,
no,
not that type of sleepover.
The guy was like, "Oh, but I want to hug you," and spooning. I was like, "Échate para allá." And then end of story. We didn't do anything, whatever. But it was like 6:00 in the morning. I was like, "Oye, my kid's coming home soon. You need to leave. You are not drunk anymore. Sabiga, you're not drunk anymore.
Here's a café con leche to go."
No, ni café, chica. Ni café. When I tell you, not even coffee. Not even. He got a t-shirt just leaving from me and you va a get chifla. I was like, no. ¿Qué café ni santo café? Yo no estoy aquí para hacerte café. Bye.
Esto no es Vicky Bakery, ¿eh?
No.
Oye, what do you think? So let's say you divorce. How soon after you divorce should you start dating?
It all depends on you. I think it depends on how long you've been separated, how long you've been divorced, how comfortable you feel. I don't really think that there's a time frame specifically for anybody. It all depends on the person.
Because there's a show now that started that's called Unicorn. And basically it's called a unicorn because the premise of the show is like the single dad of two teenage girls. The wife passed away. So he's a widower. Widower. No, is it widower? When it's a guy?
Yeah.
And he's a good looking guy. He's still young enough. He's a professional. He's responsible, blah, blah, blah. So he's like the unicorn because it's like, oh my God.
He's rare. It's a rare specimen.
So in this show, the wife has died a year ago. And all his friends are like, you gotta get out there again, blah, blah, like everybody's like kind of like forcing him and signing up on like a dating app and like all that stuff.
Oh my God, I hate when people do that.
But isn't that, do you think a year it's long enough?
I think a year is a long time, but then again, it depends on your circumstance. Like, see, when it involves a death, that's very sensitive. That's a sensitive topic because, again, you don't know how people deal with grief. You don't know if they're ready. You don't know. It's very hard to determine how long it's going to take for somebody to get over a death as opposed to a divorce. Although I have to say that divorce goes through a lot of the stages that a death goes through in the grieving process.
Acceptance.
Yeah, I hate you. Get run over by a bus. Okay, no, I'm sorry. And then, okay, now we got to get together on the same page for the kids. And then, but, I want to rip your head off. And then you're like, finally, if you can, you work on you and you can come to a better place.
Yeah.
But I have to say that not all divorces are a walk in the park.
No.
I would tend to say that
most of them are
not.
Yeah.
And the person that you marry is not the person you divorce.
Yes.
So
yes.
I learned that fast.
Yeah.
And trust me when I tell you, que el título de come mierda no es para nada. That's all I got to say about that. Although we get along fabulously now. I was like, but still sometimes, he's a come mierda and she's a come mierda and whatever.
It's taken how many years? Like what, 7 years?
At least.
7, 8 years?
Yeah.
It's taking a long
But
time.
then you get into this thing where hopefully if you're good with you.
Yeah.
And,
no, eventually, I mean, either you gotta like move on, or or kill yourself. Because honestly, like,
I've never been one of those people that are gonna be like fixated and harping, and oh my god, now he did this, and now he did that, and now who cares?
If that's how you feel, then you're not over that person. Obviamente. And at the end, I'm like, eventually, hopefully, you both move on.
Yeah.
From and get situated, mentally or whatever, and get good with yourself.
You have to draw the line,
but it takes time.
And it's a continual line drawing.
Yeah,
right.
Yes,
because sometimes they get a little crazy, and they think they can tell you, and then you got to be like, wait a second, no,
I mean, and for somebody like, let's say, if I were to be coming into like this situation where there's like a baby mama and whatever. You, as you're obviously, you need to put your ground rules too and say like, no, that's not. Number one, like, I want you to be my kids. No, it's too soon. We've only been dating for 3 months. That's too soon. I appreciate it, whatever, but I think it's too soon. Let's see where this goes. You can totally say that. It's, you both have, it's, and,
Although I think like Spanish people are very free about, like, introducing their children right away to people, and like I've seen that a lot. It's a disaster. I don't know that it's only Cubanos. I think it's a lot of different Hispanic cultures. But Cubans, like, yes, they're up there.
It's like, they're like, you're like in this honeymoon stage. You're like, he's perfect and he's the person. Oh my god! Like, no, girl, simmer down, hide your crazy, and the guy too, simmer down.
Okay? And then the family is always like, ay, pero ¿cuál es el misterio? ¿Qué importa si tú? No.
Es mejor que se conozcan. No, you can be introducing your kid to like all these people that you're going to be dating. That's not healthy. That's not.
It gives kids a bad perception of relationships.
What a relationship is, what a marriage is. Yeah, no.
I don't know. And especially girls. Like, I hate to say it, but girls are very sensitive, and you want to teach them, like an innocent way of being and a relationship. No. You don't want to expose them to all this like blah, it's like you don't want them to think that it's normal that your mom or your dad is dating the opposite sex, like changes them like every other month or something.
No, y tampoco you don't want to be bringing whatever man because you don't know that person to a daughter.
No,
I mean kids in general, but I think I know of like a lot of like let's say older ladies that have gotten divorced and they never got remarried, specifically because they had daughters, and they were like, I would never, I would have never brought. No, eso demasiado. Eso ya, because pero también son personas mayores that they were like, they were like, no, never, I would have never. Yeah. No, tampoco así. Like, everybody, todo mundo tiene el derecho de hacer su vida and be happy, and just because you have girls doesn't mean that somebody's gonna come and rape them. It's like that's the mentality you think of like every Cuban mother.
I know.
¿Tú quieres ser artista? No, porque te van a violar. ¿Tú quieres ser cantante? No, porque te van a violar. It's like, okay.
Y te vas a meter en droga. Y te vas a ser alcohólica.
Exactly. No.
Okay.
De madre. So how long do you think is a good time frame to like introduce your kids to this person?
I think if you've established with the person that you're going to be exclusive, that's very important. I think you need to establish that. And if you're on the same page about your kids, then I would say like after 6 months of dating somebody, it all depends on your age too, because if you're younger and you have kids, I think you're kind of all over the place.
Oh, I think if you're younger, but you're looking for somebody to help you.
Yeah,
if I just need somebody to like help me pay my rent and help me pick up the baby and take care of the baby when I'm like out so I can go with my friends.
But if you're older, if you're like,
you totally have different priorities and different everything. when you're younger, for sure.
I think things move at a different pace, and if you're on the same page and you're sharing the same values and views about your children with this opposite sex person, and but it's important to me to establish exclusivity.
Yeah.
Because if you're not establishing that from the beginning,
what's the point?
And no, because a lot of people don't talk about it. That's the problem, right? So
Yeah.
then it's
Oh,
assumed
yeah.
that
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah.
exclusive.
It's true.
But
yeah.
then the
It's
guy's
true.
like, "What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not exclusive."
Yeah.
And then sometimes
that's
the
you
woman,
que qué bonito.
and then the woman is like, "Pero ¿qué tú estás hablando?"
Like,
And then
Yeah.
there's a huge lost in translation going on there.
Yes.
So you need to establish that you're exclusive and that you're on the same path and
Yeah.
that you're on this relationship and you have kids
Yeah.
and you want to introduce them and you talk about it for a while. But I would think that, after a certain age, if you're like 6 months and more into the dating, you can introduce, but keep it casual, not this long.
I think it depends too on, definitely depends how old you are, what stage you are in your life, how old your kids are. Because if they're teenagers, you can probably introduce them maybe a little bit, maybe 6 months. Maybe if they're like,
hey, and they keep
if
going.
they're like 5-7 years old, maybe wait until like 8 months, 9 months of dating, maybe even like a year, I would think. Pero si ya son mayorcito, obviously, if you're like in your 50s and your kids are like 20 something, that's fine.
Hello.
It's like, you're going on a date again, can at least meet the guy, so at least,
right.
that guy can come pick you up and whatever. So I think it's, definitely a lot of things have, tiene que ver muchas cosas, not just, there's not a set time. But I've heard of like experts one time said like 2 years. I think that's excessive. Don't you think?
Yeah, that's too much.
I think that's too much.
Opinion.
2 años. Imagínate just 2 years of
That's
dating,
like
and then
if
I meet your kid is like, ¿qué bofe? Ese
Yeah.
chiquito es, yo no puedo estar con ese chiquito, like.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how about it's like you're denying the fact that this child exists for 2 years in that environment?
Yeah.
No, I disagree.
Because it's like starting to date all over again.
This expert American.
Like if like 2 years into the relationship, then you bring like a third party, let's say, and then it's like, oh my God, it's like we're like starting from scratch. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
like
weird.
You said, how about if you have a bratty kid and you just want to strangle this
But
kid?
if we have like Dennis Edman, it's like, wait a second, coño, I've known this guy for 2 years. I love him. I see everything. Pero este chiquito, wait, I have to like, imagínate tú. Entonces, it's kind of like 2 years wasted or like a year plus wasted because you gotta like, do
and then I've
shit
heard
all over
horror
again.
stories of like children that are a little bit older. Mm-hmm. And then they end up hating the woman or the man that you're dating because they just do because of the age and everything else.
Yeah, I think I hijo y hay hijo. There's definitely, I think if your child raises concern, your kids. So some kids might be just bratty. They might be a little bit, I don't know, selfish, whatever, malcriado, and they just don't want you to date anybody because whatever, XYZ. Pero también there's kids that there might be a good reason these people are not getting along, and there might be a good reason why they're not getting along, and it's like, is this person really worth it? Because yo he oído de madres que dicen, ellos no se llevan, pero you know what, mija, ella se va de la casa, tú sabes, en 2 años, and then what about me? I'm like, dude, but this is like your kid. Like if your kid is not really getting along with this guy, you gotta figure out why.
Because I've seen it happen in different households with people that I know. You have the jealousy factor, which I get because they used to always
normal.
be with you, and then now you're bringing in another person,
correct?
And there's that jealousy thing.
Yeah,
eventually it
the
goes
dynamic
away
definitely changes. I mean, you gotta.
But it's up to the adult to make that change, right?
Yeah, you gotta make the transition. You gotta appease their fears. Number one, that's usually what they think. Like, I'm gonna be replaced. A jealousy, definitely. I'm gonna be abandoned. Especially if the kid is like a little bit younger. So you definitely have to sit them down and calm their fears and say, this person is adding to us, not taking away from us. And, reassure them that you're not picking this person over them. I wouldn't say request their approval, that they have to be okay with it, but also don't force them to agree to this person, and that you have to like this person, or that you
force them to be open,
accept this person,
to the person right off the bat. I think little by little too. It depends how you talk to them, how you raise them, etc. But then
pero también tiene que ver con la persona que you're dating. That person tiene que ganarse a tu hijo también.
They have to be open to them too.
Yeah.
And hopefully when they do, if you're with somebody that has kids, they're more open to that. They know how to deal with that better. Man,
let me tell you, if I'm single and I'm dating somebody with kids, I'm sure that person is like, thank God she doesn't have kids. Because I can only imagine, like, do gente con hijos cada uno. Oh my God.
And let me tell you, I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I can tell you that for me, that the instance when something came up, I think it was twice that happened in the many years that I was dating this person. The lioness, overprotective mother came out in me, and I was like, don't even ever try it. Like, you know, I will never side with you 100% over my kid. You know what I mean? Like, if I see that there's some sort of injustice on any level towards my child, I'm always going to be more prone to defending my kid than I am a man.
Of course.
Because I'm a mother.
Yeah.
I'm a mother before I'm a wife or a girlfriend or a woman.
Yes.
You know, in my mind, my child is mine and needs my protection and needs my support and my help. This is a child. Now, if they're older and something's happening, well, then, you know, handle it a little bit differently. But still, my kid is my kid, you know, so that's a little sensitive too. And that sometimes causes friction. And if you're with somebody that wants to impose their power over your children all the time, like this one family that I know, it's terrible because it was the stepdad to this girl. And they always had that fighting, that friction, and they didn't get along, and they would yell and they would fight and all this. And it's because the man always wanted to impose his rules, his regulations, and you have to listen to me because I'm the man and I'm with your mother kind of deal. It's not because this is what's good for you. It's because, you know, yo soy el macho man de la familia. Because they're Cuban, you know that the Cubans fly off the handle, and it's like, porque me da la gana, y you listen, and that's it.
I think there's gotta be, you know, oh my God, like
that's what I'm telling
such
you.
A
run, Forrest.
tricky situation because yeah, like at this, you don't want somebody to come and like changing all the dynamic and all the rules and you know whatever. But at the same time, tú también no puedes dejarle rienda suelta a tu hijo because there's you know, if that person is good to your kid under ABC, then that person has, I think, the right to also discipline them under, you know, like.
Well, I think they have a
there's
right
gotta
to
be
discipline once you establish a certain relationship.
No, but especially, if you're living together, if you gotten married, I mean, there's things that have to happen, you know, before that.
But
before that
no,
happens.
you're going to go, because I don't even allow my ex to do this. I mean, if he has to yell at her and discipline her, okay. But like hitting and being verbally abusive and, you know, all these other crazy things.
No, yeah, so yeah.
I don't allow anybody to do that. Not even my family, because I'm very protective. And, you know, there's been times when my mother has said something and I'm like, don't talk to her like that, you know, because I don't talk to her like that. I always try to teach her respect and manners, and that you have to clearly communicate in a way where you're putting a point across without having to offend, to disrespect, to accept. So if I'm trying to instill that in her, and then I'm allowing, you know, exterior people, including her family, you know, her dad's family or her dad or my family to do that, you know, it obviates the point. And you can't let a stranger do that.
No.
So it's very complicated. This whole dating with kids is very complication.
It is. Wish me luck. Wish me luck.
No, I did agua bendita.
No, because I see it like let's say when I've been on like dating apps, I've always put like undecided or open when it comes to kids, because to be honest, like it's not something that keeps me up at night. It's not something that it's like on my bucket list. It's not. I haven't frozen my eggs. I haven't even looked into. I don't even know how much that costs. I haven't looked into IVF. Not interested. I'm not really interested in the process of being pregnant, giving birth.
Wait a second. Who is that famous person?
It's just not my thing.
Her ex was suing her.
Yes,
Sofía Vergara. Frozen egg, Sofía Vergara. ¿Tú te imaginas?
That is crazy.
¿Qué este pendejo viene de la nada and he wants your eggs?
Do you know what that is? They were like engaged at one point and they froze their eggs because they were thinking of whatever.
And then she meets this hot
and she got married.
And that's what it was. It was because this guy's hot
now.
No,
but the thing is, like, it's not her eggs, it's their embryos. So that's part of his. They're already fertilized.
Yes.
So that's the problem. It's like, shit, people do
freeze your eggs, but don't fertilize
exactly. Them. Just freeze your eggs. That's all you gotta do, okay? But, that's good with any guy.
Yes.
Yeah, but so when I'm on the dating apps and I put that, I'm like, but I always put open and undecided because I'm open. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'll meet somebody. I'm like, oh my God, I totally want to like procreate with you. But then I see these guys that when they put they don't want kids, like I already write them off the bat. Like, I'm like, forget it. I would like to at least have an option. So if you tell me you're not interested, you're like, you're not interested. Goodbye.
Yeah.
But then I see these guys that have kids. And then they put that they don't want any more kids or they don't want to date somebody with kids. I'm like, what the fuck?
What?
Like,
I've
that's
heard that
not.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
guys
like,
that have kids don't want to date women.
It's like, that's not fair. Like, okay, good luck
because
to
those
you.
are the guys you don't want to be with. Because
Correct.
those are the guys that want to be hanging around and bouncing around on the weekends when they don't have their kids.
Yes.
So those are the ones you have to be weary of. And then the guys that use their kids on social media to get women, mierda.
Yeah.
Because then they start posting all these pictures with their kids. They're trying to get the sympathy vote. I don't know what the hell you're doing. But you don't need to put your freaking kid on your dating app.
Don't pimp your kid
profile.
Bro. You can put one picture. You can put one picture, maybe covering their face. Something, you know, like.
Then why put anything? That's weird.
Yeah, but I have a problem with. Not a problem. What do you call it?
Un complaint.
A complaint. A pet peeve about like celebrities, especially that they don't. I totally get the thing of like not putting their kids, not pimping out your kids. Totally fine. Even though I love watching their kids on Instagram, I think it's the cutest thing, and they're funny and like whatever. But I totally get that you don't want to put your kids. But then don't be showing me his feet or his back or his
you know who does that a lot?
Or
Halle
his hands. I cannot stand that. It's like, if you don't want to post your kid, then don't post any body part of your kid. That is so freaking annoying to me. It's like, you're still pimping out your kid. Don't put that.
Yeah, they want the privacy, but I guess they want to share the intimacy part, but not the whole thing.
They want to share because they want likes and they want followers and stuff. It's like, don't put that. Yeah. Don't show me any other body part of your kid then. Or don't be posting him with a little happy face covering his face. No lo ponga.
I know. Isn't it weird how Michael Jackson used to do that all the time?
No,
there
were many wrong
things. He was excessive when it came to that. But there's a lot of famous people that are Michael Jackson.
Oh my God, but
borderline.
I fucking hate that. I hate that. Don't put your kid, don't even mention them. They don't exist. Don't be showing me any body part of your kid. If you don't want to, that's fine. But just don't show me anything. That's so annoying.
Everybody take a mental note of that.
It really bothers me. It's like, that is so freaking annoying.
That's true.
Anyway,
yeah. So
I think, I don't know. I've heard of these women, especially women. They're dating this guy and they're like, como que el hombre already has kids and he's not a good dad for whatever reason. He hasn't seen his kids in 10 years. He doesn't have a relationship with his kids. Cuando están con los niños, you see that he's not a very, good dad or whatever, or he doesn't pay child support, qué sé yo, lo que sea. And then you're still with that guy, and you think of having kids with that guy. Why would you think that guy's going to be any different to your kids than he is to the kids that he already has?
I don't know.
What is wrong with this woman? And why would you be okay with dating somebody?
And why do you want to have kids to like tie your life down like that with somebody who's not worthy?
But
to have kids with.
But it's like, why are you okay dating somebody that's not a good dad in the
because
first place?
People are twisted,
and
then the guy probably has told this woman all kinds of lies and exaggerations, and maybe sometimes they're not lies, but then the woman, depending on the personality of the woman and the nationality, they get very like feisty, and they're looking like to prove a point. I guess I don't know. It's like it's very twisted. It's like, why do you want to? Like, you're hating on the other woman, and then you're like, I'm going to show her I'm going to have a baby with him, and then, te metes tres patas con el culo, and then you buy yourself a
It's like, good luck to you. You're going to be joining that woman on the child support train, and, on the court, like, oh, baby mama number one, baby mama number two, what's your claim or whatever, because if he's a deadbeat to his first kids, why would you think he'd be any different to your kids? What is wrong with these women that think like that? I mean, if a guy doesn't love his kids, he doesn't love anybody, dude. If you don't love your kids, you don't love anybody. Same as women. If guys are out there are dating a woman,
women do it a lot too. They abandon their children.
¿Para qué carajo tú estás con esa mujer? Esa mujer, olvídate. They're not a good. If they don't love their kids, they don't love you too either, dude. It's like, olvídate. It doesn't. There's no other way to look at it. Look at it. I was reading this. So if it's hard being single and dating somebody with kids, imagine dating when you both have kids, like his, hers, and ours, or just his and hers.
Yeah, I can imagine that's hard.
I was reading this article about this couple. They did it the right way. Let me tell you, this is the way to do it. They're like both separated. They're like older, like in late 40s, maybe early 50s. They each have kids. Mm-hmm. So they were dating. Things started getting serious, and they decided, move in together. And she was always like, "Let's move in together. Let's live together apart." And he was like, "What?" And people were like, "Oh my God, se están separando, whatever, No, what she wanted, her idea was kind of like to have two houses joined in the middle.
What do you mean two houses joined in the
middle? Two houses, cada uno que tenga su casa.
Like next to each other?
Yes, but then joined in the middle.
Oh, so you have like a little bridge from one house to the other?
Kind of. So that's what they did. They found two houses, and in the middle, I don't know if they built something or they just opened like you have a duplex or something, you just knock down a wall and you do a little passageway.
Can you imagine that in a Cuban marriage?
No, eso no funciona.
Eso es mierda con mierda. It's like, how do you do that?
Dude, I don't know. It works for these people. She has like a teenage...
gringos?
Yeah.
Por eso.
She has a teenage son, and he has like two young girls.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Ahí todo el mundo está revuelto with the Cubans.
No, eso no. Eso no funcionaría con los cubanos, I don't think.
First of all, no offense to anybody, but I think that's retarded. I mean, I want to be with my husband in my house. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have a little bridge that leads to your house and you come to my house.
Well, they're not married. They're not married.
It doesn't matter, even if you're together and you're living.
They're living together, but they're not married.
You're living together, but you're not. Mm-hmm. And then why do you want two mortgages? Stupid.
Mom, she has her own mortgage and he has his. Like
two mortgages.
It was how they lived before. Okay, before deciding to
only now they don't have their drive time together. Has been cut down to a little connecting bridge. Stupid.
Hey, at night is like, you want it? Oh, sure, come over. And then it's
come
like
to my yard.
And then
I'll be waiting. Yeah, for you. And then your ride home is like literally 2 steps. North.
And then just go back to bed. Like I don't know.
I know. No. No entender. No entender. It figures that there's fucking gringos. I was like, no.
Ay, los gringos, los pobres gringos yendo
Ay, no, estos gringos están locos. Dicen que los latinos están locos.
Qué pena.
Hell no.
Yeah, man.
That's why their kids come out so fucking crazy. At least with Cubans and Hispanics, y los manda para carajo, le tiras una chancleta, le dices 100 cosas, and they they're not traumatized.
Really?
No, they're really not. They're really not. And
just because we don't go to therapy does not
we suffer in silence. And then, like
winners.
Yes. Because we're strong. My daughter the other day, she goes, no, Mom, are you gonna hit me with a chocolate? She's like, and I was like, and then, but it's just words.
It's never the end.
It's just words. It's just words.
Now for my mama, whatever she would find, bro, is like un cinto, una chancleta.
No, I know, but let me tell you,
Let me tell you, a spanking early enough in life, it works, people. Yes. Okay? A spanking works.
It does. It works.
Yeah.
And even when they're older. My mother used to tell me, si me tengo que subir encima de la mesa de lo que sea con un palo te rompo la cabeza. And I was like, okay. And you would be like, with your mouth quiet, looking up, and your eyes are rolling up, and you're like,
yeah, age doesn't matter. Okay. 18, que lo que tú no 18, culicagón.
To my brother, who was always very, tall and big, and she goes, a mí no me importa el tamaño que tú tengas. Si me tengo que subir encima de lo que sea, romperte la cabeza, te lo hago. My brother would be like, lady's crazy.
Let me not wake the crazy. Let me not wake the beast.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's all out there, right? It's like, okay, you deal with the crazy and you keep going.
Oh, man.
But these gringos, it's like, ¿qué? Medication, therapy, no sé qué coño.
That's another episode. We're gonna do
and a freaking bridge unifying 2 houses. ¿Qué es eso? No.
It's all this openness about, all this blended families, and still how many types of families we have, I don't know.
And I think because...
Para los cubanos, like...
And I think because Hispanics are so open about the majority of stuff. When they say things, like everybody in the whole world like knows it, and you know, it's out there. More stuff is out there, and then when you're like not, you know, like everything is all hush hush, like, and then you're like all fucked up.
That's how we deal with our trauma. We just like
blurt it out.
We blurt it out.
Could you imagine dating somebody and they tell you that, oh, I don't want to live in the same house with you?
Yeah, I don't know. I would be like,
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like you have a 2-story house and you're like, you live downstairs and I live upstairs.
Yeah, that would feel to me like we're not together.
I know.
Yeah.
That's for the birds.
So you wouldn't do that?
No.
I mean, one of the pros is hooking up is like, you know, can we lessen the financial responsibility?
Correct.
And not only that, but
and listen,
can you
please like hang this up for me, fix that, and whatever. You help each other. You're there together. Yeah. Especially if you both have kids. Like, you know, I don't want to be your baby mama, be a slave to your children. I mean, you have to do it too, but you know.
Sí, como que, you know, is it ever going to feel like a cohesive, you know,
like the Brady Bunch
family, you know.
Like you got to be the Brady Bunch. Either you're in or you're out.
It's true. Yeah.
You know, that's it.
I agree.
Casa
Cerrado. See, if you're going to date, bueno, then, you know, you got to, from the get-go, you got to say kids or no kids. And whatever.
It's easy. Either you're in or you're out.
Either you're in or you're out, honestly.
Like on Project Runway. You're
out. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. And then kiss on both sides of the cheek.
Well, Auf Wiedersehen to you. Thank you very much for listening.
Hasta la bye-bye.
Bye. Hi, everyone. We're on YouTube, Google Play Music, Spotify, Radio Public. Remember, share, like, and subscribe.